Leaders in the African-American community just gathered in Orlando, Florida for the NAACP convention. They're calling on the Justice Department to file charges against George Zimmerman for a federal civil rights violation. Well, our next guests say their own civil rights were violated at that same convention. They say for being conservative. Joining us right now is Fox News contributor and author of Backlash, Deneen Borelli, and her husband, Dr. Tom Borelli, a senior fellow with FreedomWorks. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Steve.
So you were blacklisted from the NAACP convention?
Absolutely. I've been blacklisted for a number of years, actually, because I've been trying to get the NAACP to come out and take a stand when black conservatives are criticized and targeted because of our views. All I want to do was talk about people empowering themselves, how they can be self-sufficient, not rely on others, not rely on government. But on the flip side, that's what the NAACP and the rest of the black liberal establishment does not want the black community to hear. They want blacks to be victims and to think that there's racism and that they can't get ahead, and really it's a lie.
So you guys wanted to go down and attend and perhaps speak or at least have a table, and what were you told, Doctor?
Well, we work with FreedomWorks, and we actually want to also be part of their exhibit hall. So we were willing to pay the nonprofit to have a booth there. They told us, and Deneen has in an email, there was no room for us. But clearly, when we went there, we took some shots. There was a lot of room. And since when does a nonprofit reject money?
Are you kidding? How could you possibly squeeze into that exhibit hall? It's really jammed, isn't it?
But it's very concerning because really a lot of the message that we heard from the speakers that were there was victimization. And clearly our country is an exceptional country. We have a wealth of opportunities that are available, but it's up to people to work hard and pursue these opportunities. But the message that was communicated from the NAACP and others on the liberal side is not about empowering oneself.
Tom?
Yeah, they were trying to roll back the clock to the 1950s to keep, these blacks very concerned. They complained about the Supreme Court's decision on voter rights. The Trayvon Martin issue was another example of rampant racial bias and racism in America. They're trying to move the clock back when the evidence shows otherwise.
But explain why. I mean, here we are in 2013. We have an African-American president. The biggest stars in the world are African-American here in the United States. Is the NAACP essentially,
It's a liberal front group, and I find them to be irrelevant because they continue to push the same message of moving people back with the mindset and what they do versus moving people forward to get ahead and be progressive in life.
And they're also advancing policies that's actually going to harm the black community. Ben Jealous, the president, was excited that coal-fired power plants were closing. Well, that means higher electricity prices and losses of manufacturing jobs. The black community has already been devastated with high unemployment and lower disposable income with higher energy prices.
And if you, I was paying attention to what was going on down there yesterday, and it was clear that they're trying to use the Trayvon Martin death as a rallying cry for change. When you look at it, do you see this as a race case?
No, it wasn't, because they're both minorities, first of all. But you had the media and those on the left who injected race into this issue early on, and when in fact it's been decided by the FBI with their investigation, plus with the ruling that he was not a racist. This is a horrible tragedy. My heart goes out to the parents of Trayvon Martin, but it was not an issue about race.
But when you watch some of the channels or listen to some of the radios or you read some of the blogs, it was clearly racist, they say.
Well, they're just trying to carry that narrative. At the end of the day, this is really about the 2014 election coming up. The black vote was extremely important for President Obama. He's losing some of the unions because Obamacare is imploding. The IRS, he needs that really liberal voting bloc to be there. So what we saw at the NAACP was a massive brainwashing session, and it's really outrageous.
All right. Dr. Tom Borelli, Deneen Borelli, thank you.